Okay, let's get this one going. Week 8, and everybody doing okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. All right. If you have done anything along the idea of all these assignments coming up to today, you're sitting pretty. But even if not, you're still sitting pretty, because today we're going to morph into the idea of taking all that we've learned and how do we monetize it? What do we do to get paid? Just like me in the old days, but in a more important fashion. What does it mean to do promotional content? That's the key that I want for y'all to understand, because we can't just say what this used to be called. And I'm going to tell you that in a minute. Promotional content. All right. I need to make sure that this isn't going off the screen of what we're recording. Okay, good. All right. Promotional content. And I stop right there. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. So what I'm talking about, we used to call, I guess we still do call commercials, right? But the reason I'm hesitant to use that word anymore is because of social media. Everything you do, Amanda just showed me what she did at Strawberry Festival, right? She's getting really good at going out there and doing that social media style of shooting commercials, right? Promotional content. But I don't think we call it commercials anymore. If y'all were going to talk about something you saw on Instagram or some social media that you might be using, and it's trying to show you a restaurant, or it's trying to show you the Strawberry Festival in Pasadena, whatever, do y'all call that a commercial?
No.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know what we do call it. I know the verb is scrolling, but when you see an ad of some kind, I don't even know what the word is anymore.
Ad.
It's an ad, right? I mean, it's just an ad now. I like that. So let's just say, let's put that down. Ads. Ads, right? And that's just short for advertisement. I like that. And I think that's probably the catchphrase that works right now. Social media, digital production, TV, it's all together now. In the future, I don't know that anybody's even going to consider the idea that TV, as we know it, was separate from internet. I think that as we move forward, it won't take long, and everybody looking at the internet is going to assume TV is one and the same. They're never going to even think that there was a time when the two were separate. Right? We had a TV as an appliance. Now we just have TV as a business model, and the ads are what carry it through. Right. So now, used to be in television, you had viewerships, you had audiences, right? We had this thing called the Nielsen ratings, which they still have. I don't know how effective it is, but you had Nielsen ratings, and they would ask you if you were at home to pay attention to your TV. And if you wanted to, you could sign up and get a little box, and they'd put a box on your TV at home, and they would record and monitor everything you watched. And they had those random boxes that were sent out. And the idea was the Nielsen numbers were something that gave advertisers a basic idea of how many people were watching on any given evening, on any given show, at any given hour. So advertisers could keep up with, is this effective or not? In addition to, am I selling product, right? So now we have that same kind of thing, except now what do we do is digital, right? It's eyeballs, and audiences are able to be monitored in a much more physical way, in a much more disciplined and what I think realistic way, which is the opportunity of being able to click and see the clicks. They can see the people that are watching the entirety of the broadcast of your ad, or are they clicking away at the 30-second mark, or are they even watching it at all? They just scrolling right past it, right? So that we have this digital interpretation now for ads, and whether it's working for advertisers. But I am taking you from the idea of ads or commercials. What we're really talking about is promotional content. And how do we do that, right? Because one of the things I keep telling y'all is that the idea of TV, the television business, hasn't changed. The platform of television has changed. So in the old days, we used to watch a television. It was an appliance in the home. Now television is a business model, and our appliances are really depending on platform that we're using to receive or consume our content. Could be your phone, could be your laptop, could be a device, right? We call it a device now. It could be television. But even on your television now, you have smart televisions that are hooked to the internet and provide you streaming services or different types of apps that you can use. And you download these apps to your television. You consume your content through a YouTube app or through Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever you want. That is the new platform distribution methodology for television, for content now. But the business of television always going to stay the same. That is ad-based. Somebody's got to pay for the stuff we're watching, and the advertisers are the people that pay, and producers like us make the content that people watch, and we monetize it by being able to show the business owners what's in it for them. Okay, so I want to take us down that road, and then our thing today is no matter how you're going to distribute it, you've got social media, you've got television commercials, old school style. Give the TV station a commercial, they'll run it, buy the airtime, you can be on TV. It's really that simple. You can do it for Facebook, you can do it for YouTube, you can advertise using Google, AdSense, and be able to put your stuff wherever you want. But the assumption is that in order to even do any of that, you have a commercial produced. You have an ad of some kind that has been produced, and that hopefully you are the person that knows how to produce it. Because I can tell you right now, a lot of business owners know what they do. You know, a bagel shop knows how to make bagels. They don't know how to make videos most of the time. And if they do, they're trying, but they're in the bagel business because they make good bagels, and you're in the video business because you make good videos. So I want to take y'all down the road of where I was, but explain to you, just like we're talking about TV and how the more things change, the more they stay the same. The same is true with how do we do promotional content. Right now, I kind of put together 5 things that I know I've always done that always work. And this will be the same, whether you're making an ad for Instagram or you're doing a TV commercial that's going to run during the Super Bowl. There's just certain things you've got to do, I think, in order to make sure that the commercial comes out right, and put it into 5 little steps. At the end of this one, then I'm tasking you all with the assignment today. I think because we're getting toward the end, this is week 8. We were doing this on Monday with another class when we realized we're into week 8 of an 11 weeks deal. And this one, depending on how you want to do it, it could take you a while, or you could just go Amanda way and just go knock it out real quick and send me a link. Either way, you're getting really good at the idea of how do we make money in this new world where we're producing ads or promotional content. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is wrap up our semester with this particular assignment, so that if we go through this one on 8, we come into week 9, then we go into week 10 to watch everybody's stuff, wrap it up in week 11. That'll be it. All right. So I know we've had a lot of assignments now that I don't want for you to get backed up on. So this commercial assignment today, this promotional content assignment, will wrap it up for this course, for our class here, making sure that y'all just ended on a good note and are able to make sure you're not getting overwhelmed, because I hear other people in other people's classes that are getting a little stressed. So I don't want that to be this class. Catherine.
You see, this is an advertising, so I can do any advertise any on the spot there. Oh, I can copy.
Yeah, Catherine's asking, is advertising, and then can you do any type of advertising? Absolutely. And that's why I tell you in here, I'm going to literally read a little bit of what I wrote though. All right. So I'm telling you that you can do anything you want, right? You're going to make a commercial for any business or a product or a widget, etc., whatever you like. Okay. And it could be of your own design. You know, if you have something you're trying to promote or publish, make it for yourself. If you have a business that you like and you want to go in there and tell them, hey, I got an assignment, I'm a student, can I make a commercial for your business? Yes. All right. And then do whatever you can to try to put something together. You can showcase your skills.
Yes. If like I have time, so definitely I'm going to design my own, because I have another project I can to do the advertising for the something I was to do. If I don't, I think it's probably I feel harder. Can I do like advertising already? Their company have logo, but I review.
Yeah.
I feel like I do. Wear logo, so like
come on. Yes, girl. Yes. Okay. Because the more you can do for them, the more that they find that they need you. And a lot of these people are sitting there making bagels all day, whatever their business is. They know they need this, but they're busy, or they think I don't know anybody that can do it. And when you show up, most of the time, yeah, girl, you provide a solution to a problem that exists. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to love you for it.
Okay, that's.
They're going to love you for it. Yes. Catherine's saying, can I go in? Maybe they need help with logos, kind of make a whole complete package out of the presentation. Yes. Yes, girl.
Okay.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't like that, right? That's where I'm going. And so for me to tell y'all about where I want y'all to go and where I got these ideas of the 5 things you got to do to make sure your promotional content is going to succeed, I went way back and I put you a link in there. I thought I had a link to just normal business stuff that I had done. I couldn't find that link. I could if I took more time, but I found a link to just restaurants that I had done. So I put that link in there so y'all can see and click and watch all the things. And everything that you're going to see in that link, all the different restaurants and those commercials that go with them, is one thing that I want for y'all to know. The assignment came to me. This was back when America Online was really moving forward. They had this idea that they were going to make yellowpages.com. They were going to make City Search and these search engines, and all these businesses wanted to be involved and have a presence on the World Wide Web. And they knew they had to have video. And so they came to me and found me somehow. And they told me 2 things. One is, we got these businesses and we need to make commercials for them. And I said, great. And they said, the next thing is, you're going to go there and you're going to shoot this stuff and you're going to get out of there within 2 hours. And I said, what? And they said, yeah, you never met these people. We are only giving them as a spec. They've hit our lead generator. They said, we bought into a commercial. They paid. So now we're going to send you to be the producer of the commercials, but you can't stay longer than 2 hours. I said, okay. I didn't even think that was possible. I thought I had to go meet with these people in my business. You had to go meet with them. You had to go out to lunch with them. You had to do some stuff. These people had already bought into the idea. They needed it. All they needed was me to show up, help them make a commercial, and then go home and edit it real quick. And I had to turn it in within 24 to 48 hours after being on site with them. I said, you're crazy. I said, but come on, I'll try it, right? And I know if you've been with me, you probably heard this story before, but that's what I want for y'all to do on this one, all right? The key is to do this. If you hit these 5 points, it's going to make it simple, and you really will be able to never have met these people. Literally walk in, never met them, don't know them, assume that they need a commercial. Here's what we're going to do, and be able to get in and out of there in less than 2 hours, go home and edit it within 24 hours to 48 hours. That just depends on how much, other stuff you got to do. Between 1 to 2 days, you have it right back to them. And when you do that a couple of times, you'll start to believe in yourself. More importantly, you can really start cranking out some content for people and really be able to amass a real easy revenue stream. Okay, so that's where we're going on this week. I gave you that link. You can kind of take a look at some of the stuff I did. I had it for all businesses, but I can only find a playlist that had restaurants. So there you go. It's just restaurants, but still you'll get the idea. And these are the ones I've told you before. When I was doing this, I would go in, it was so busy, man. It was every day because everybody was buying into this program. And so they were sending me different places all day, every day. And my boy started watching, and he's like, man, well, how come you always bring home all this food? These are the restaurants. And I said, dude, because I'm filming this stuff, and when you do a restaurant commercial, they're going to bring out the best stuff that they have. So they put it out there, and I film it, and they move it to the side. I put it out there, I film it, they move it to the side. And when it's all done, they just say, hey, man, you want to take this home? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Because I can't eat it because it's cold by the time I'm filming everything. So that I would take home all this food. And my boy started, eating it all. And he was like, why are you doing this? And I explained to him, he's like, hey, man, it didn't take him a second. He's like, you need a helper? And I was like, yeah. And I thought, honestly, my brain didn't work that fast. I was thinking, dude, he's interested in what I'm doing. He wants to come help me. Hell no. And it had nothing to do with that. Hometown really wanted that good ass food. That's what he wanted. And so I said, I'll carry your tripod. I was like, great, dude. He was a little dude. He was like 12 years old. He'd come and he'd be carrying my tripod the first time. He came, he carried my tripod. He did whatever he could. And as soon as that food came out, he took a seat right there. And I realized what he was doing. I never even thought about it till that moment. The fancy food would come out, the best things a restaurant would make, and I'd shoot it and be steaming hot. It'd look great on camera, and they'd move it to the side. They'd bring the next one. And by the time I look over there, JoJo was already eating that stuff. It was already gone. And he did that. Once he figured it out, he was with me on every restaurant shoot. So half the stuff you look at when you're looking at that playlist, just figure JoJo was sitting right there eating it all as soon as it went past the camera. That was so much fun. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Let's get into how we do this. All right. And this is a generic thing from top to bottom within a list of 5 that'll help you succeed on anything you do when you're working on promotional content at any level. Okay. The first one, here we go. Make the owner or the client happy. That's our goal. All right, so I'm gonna write that one down. Now I'm gonna break it down for y'all so you see what I'm talking about. Make the owner or the client, because sometimes you deal with an owner, sometimes you deal with a PR or an ad agency, sometimes you deal with the son of an owner or the daughter or the wife of an owner. You know what I'm saying? We're working for somebody. So make them happy. That's our goal. All right, and the reason I tell you that is because that's who's paying us. So, like in any business, you want your customer to be happy, but really in video, you want to make your customers happy. And the reason I tell you that as number one is because if you don't understand that from the beginning, you're going to end up spiraling downward into a never-ending thing of, I think I can do better. I think I can do better. I think I can shoot this better. You're never going to get out of there in 2 hours because everything you see is going to start to look like something you need to be in your commercial. Make the customer happy. Keep the idea of your commercial is about them. It ain't about you. You're not going to have to be a Steven Spielberg and make your own feature film of their commercial. All we need to do is understand what they want. And then our entire mission is to make them happy. Don't ever get that wrong. Don't ever get to the point where you do what you want to do in lieu of or contrary to what you know they want. Worst mistake you can make. But the only reason this is really important right now is because of your time constraint. In order for you to get out there and do 1 and be able to do 2 and do like they were doing me 3 to 4 a day, 5 days a week, and I wasn't having to sell it. Now we'll talk about selling it in a different deal. But I had these clients already. They were sent to me, but I had to do the turnaround. I had to go and meet them, keep it under 2 hours, get as many as I could in a day, and then edit it and turn it around like they needed within 24 to 48 hours and still be doing that like a pipeline. And the only way that I was able to do that was by realizing I just want to make them happy. But here's the scoop on that. As a producer in this kind of a line, and I don't care if you're doing businesses or promotional content assumes we're working with or for someone. But as a business owner, you really want to get within the context of whatever your client wants is what you want to provide. And the more you do it, the more experience you gain. And the more experience you gain, the more you can then include your experience into fulfilling what they want. But at the end of the day, when you show them their commercial, when you show them the promotional content you produced, if it doesn't make them happy, they're not going to like it. I promise you. You can go all day long why you did what you did, why I didn't listen to that. In fact, you wanted blue, but I'm telling you, green is the way to go. So I put green in. They're just going to see that you didn't do what they wanted, and it's going to be a bad show from the beginning. Our goal, always make the owner or the client happy. So important. Now, how do we do that? The first thing we're going to do is, and I'm not going to write this down because I'm going to run out of room, but I put it here and I'm reading off the screen of what I put for the assignment. So make your notes when you're going off of what I wrote here. But in order to make the owner happy or the client happy, you got to do these things. You got to sit down and talk with them. Remember, I'm showing up. I've never met these people. And I'll tell you the same thing. You can cold call. One of the guys that I did a commercial for in this particular time frame, within this particular era when I was out doing this kind of work, was a window guy. And that's why I was wishing I could have found the playlist that had all the businesses as a whole, not just restaurants. But anyway, it was a window guy, and him and his wife sold windows. But when I got to interviewing her for some of the narration that I needed to do their commercial, I listened to her story. And a lot of these people, again, if you're not on a time crunch, they're going to just talk forever. They got a camera. They think you got all day. And so she started talking, and it was a great story. And I'll never forgot it. But she said she was so proud of her husband because of selling windows. He didn't know anything. He knew he liked to do windows. He had an experience with working with an old window company back in the day, and he wanted to do windows. And she's like, okay, baby, whatever you want, right? And so he set out to sell windows, but he didn't have a single client. And that was an awesome story. She started to cry when she talked about every day he would get up with some brochures and some business cards, and he would literally just walk around knock on doors, cold calling is what it's called. And my little screen went off, so I'm redoing this one. But he went cold calling door to door and sold windows. And then he started to get a little business going. He had a couple of clients. Then those clients started telling their friends, and then their friends started having businesses. And so he started getting business clients. Then the business clients liked it and they started telling their friends, and those people owned buildings. Then he got building clients. And by the time they were talking to me and I was doing a commercial for them, they were running a city. Window, I can't remember what it was called. Don't even quote me. Some kind of window company. I'd have to go backwards and remember it. If I just guessed, I'd probably tell you the wrong name. But a big recognizable window company started with him just cold calling. Now that can happen at any time. That can happen right now. If you think you can't do it, whatever you're going to do in the video world, it's going to have to take some hustle. But you got to believe in yourself. And I'm telling you, there's buku clients out there, buku customers that need video, need promotional content, whether it's social media or TV commercials or whatever. They need it. And if you'll go knock on a door, you'll find them just like that window guy did. Okay, so, but when you get there, you don't know these people, I'm assuming. Maybe you do. Maybe they're your best friends. But I'm working from the idea I don't know much about them. And I tell you what, that doesn't even matter. You could either know these people like best friends, they're your next door neighbor, or you could walk in, cold call, and never have met them. Either way, the same is true. Because why? Because we're going to sit down and talk with our client about what I call POC. All right, so we're going to get away from the idea of the client. Now we're talking to our point of contact. We've talked to the owner, we've talked to the client, and we've been put in touch with somebody who's going to be our point of contact, POC. And that could be the owner, it could be the client, or it could be somebody they send us to. Anyway, I'm going to refer to that person as POC now. So we're going to get with our POC and we're going to find out what their ideas are. That's the first thing we want to know. What are their ideas? Right. And then I take it further. I say, ask them, right? We're going to ask them some questions so we can develop an idea of our own of what this commercial is going to look like. Ask them what they want to achieve with this commercial. Ask them what things they want to showcase in this commercial. Ask them what their favorite things are about their business or product, and then ask them what visuals they think should be included in this commercial. And the reason I put those questions down like that is to show you how important it is to ask your POC what they have in mind, because our goal is to what? Make them happy, right? So in making them happy, the easiest way, we're running a little interview here when we first get with them. What are your ideas? What are your thoughts? What are your things you want to see? What would make you happy is really what we're saying without asking them that way. Because if you go in an open-ended question with them, you're either going to get nothing in return, or you're going to get an answer so long it doesn't really help you. Ask them about what they want so that you have a really good idea of what their expectations are. That's the key. We don't want any unmet expectations. That'll kill your production faster than anything. Unmet expectations is a killer. So what we want to do is understand their expectations, hit everything that they expect as best we can. And when we watch them, when we show them the commercial, they're going to be happy. That's it. That makes sense? Any questions on that one? It seems basic, but I'm telling you, this is the roadmap that I used over and over again as I was doing, I don't know, just hundreds, man, if not thousands of these things. I was reflecting back on this assignment, and I know that this works. These 5 things, and it was a trip for me to come up. It turned into 5 different things. All right. The next thing, and this is really important. Number 2, write a script or a production storyboard. That's up to you. Okay. Now, remember, I'm telling y'all, I just walked in off the street. I just met with these people. I just sat down and talked to them, kind of give them that interview we just went through on number 1. Now, what I learned is I got to turn that interview into a script, because if I don't have a script, just like I wrote right here, avoiding this step is like taking a trip without a map. Again, 2 hours or less. And this is how you break it down. If you go and you just blindly go out and start shooting stuff, and you walk in there and it's so pretty, and you're like, I just got to get the camera on. I got to get this. It looks so pretty. If you go that route, you're not going to know what you're shooting. You're not going to know why you're shooting it. You're not going to know what the purpose is for your client. What are they doing? What are their expectations, right? And then most importantly, you're not going to be looking at what makes them happy. Because all we're there for is to make them happy. So once you sit down and do your interview with them, then we crank out a script. And that to me is just a simple narration. That's all it was. Some people, and the reason I put storyboard, I never was a storyboard guy. Like, I'm not a good drawer. I couldn't really do that. I saw what I needed to shoot in my head visually. I see the visuals in my head, but I never have taken the time to actually draw it out. And remember, I'm only there 2 hours. You're only there 2 hours or less, right? That's a maximum. I got to where I was knocking this out quick. My fastest way to get to shooting something, to pull out a camera, was to get a script written. So I'm with my POC, I'm with my point of contact. I listen, I do my interview, then I say, okay, now here's what I'm thinking. And I would write out a short little script. We would write it together. And then I say, okay, we need a narrator. We need a narration, right? What's this gonna do? And the script helps me understand my shots that I need. It helps the talent or the business owner or the point of contact. It helps them understand how we're going to tell the story for the business or for the commercial, for the promotional content we're producing, right? It helps everybody get on the same page. And here's the kicker. We're talking about 30 seconds. So it helps them understand it doesn't take long to do 30 seconds of narration. So they might want to tell a story that's an hour long. When we sit down and we talk about what they want, then we start to script it. It helps your people understand. It helps your client and your POC understand immediately, quickly. Man, 30 seconds, man, I don't have a lot of time. And that's how you're able to navigate them into condensing their entire thing. I would do at that point, I'd get it into condensed. We got to get 30 seconds here. So I think with them, I had, on those days, they would let me go up to 60 seconds. Okay, but even that is really quick. Some of these people, when you come in on the business side, it's a family business. They've been in business for 100 years. Their grandpa started it, and they think they're going to tell this whole story, you know, in your commercial. And I'm like, you got 30 seconds or 60 seconds. So when we write a script and then they read it and I hit a timer, they realize, oh my gosh, you know, this is going by too quickly. I can't tell that story about grandpa. I can't, if I want to, I have to prioritize the story I'm telling, because I only got 30 seconds. I only got 60 seconds, right? I would use that to help that. Now, at the same time, here's an upsell. When we talk about upsells right now, you want to talk about ads, all right? When we get into social media, you get into your phones and the games and stuff like that, right? And then everybody makes money in the gaming because of the upsells that they have. You want a better sword, you want more access, whatever, all right? But you pay for it. I would use this part, number 2 in the presentation, to tell them, look, I'm here for America Online. I have to do this for them. I love your story. I could come back on a later date. Let's get this out of the way that y'all have paid for, and I'm here to only do this, and I got to get right back out of here in a couple of hours. Let's knock this out. But then if you like what I'm doing, I'll come back. We'll shoot you again, and I'll give you whatever time you want. We can increase this up to 5 minutes or something. And 9 times out of 10, if that's what they wanted, they'd pay me, and I'd be right back out there next week on my own dime, getting paid in addition to what America Online had already paid me. But if you wanted to do more than 30 seconds, more than 60 seconds, I would upsell that. And if they had a family business or a story to tell, they would always buy it. First of all, they'd want to see, because what I'm doing is I'll show you what I'm about to do. If you like it, if you want to talk more, I'll come back. And then they saw what I did. They liked what I did, and they always brought me back. So that was an opportunity to upsell right there in the number 2 spot. Let me see what I put down here. Write the script or production storyboard. This can be basic or detailed. It's up to you. However your brain works. I worked in a very simplistic manner to keep it real simple for these people. A lot of these people, like I tell you, they know how to make bagels. They're in the bagel business. They're not in the TV business. They don't want to stand in front of a camera for a long time. They don't know how to give a tour, avoid a tour. Those are whole different kind of shoots. They say, put a little lavalier on me. I'm going to walk you around the business. Man, you know why that doesn't work? Because you got to cut that. You can follow them. I know Kent Lee knows. You put a mic on somebody and let them do a tour, and then you try to cut that into a 30-second realm or 60-second realm. Any kind of confirmation where you're trying to condense a tour and make it work into whatever your time constraints are, when you didn't script it to begin with, man, that's haphazard at best, and it'll never easily work out. You'll spend a lot of time trying to get that the way you want it to be. So avoid the tours when you have time constraints on your TRT or your total runtime. Okay, but so write a script. This can be basic or detailed. It's up to you. This step creates the skeleton and shot list for the commercial. Can't stress that enough. The reason we do this is so that we get in sync with the POC, we get in sync with the client or the owner, and we both understand we got 30 seconds, we got 60 seconds. Write it, make sure you like what it says, make sure it talks about what you want to push or promote, and let's read it. So we time it, make sure it comes out at 30, make sure it comes out at 60. All right. And when we agree, now you're ready to go. Now you and your client, you and the POC are in agreement. This is what we're about to go do. Now we can pull a camera out. Moving on. Okay, now we're going to number 3. Number 3 is really important because most of this, unless you're shooting visually. Now, a lot of the stuff on social media, you really could walk in and you can just spray it. I call it spraying. It's what we call it with a camera. You just start shooting stuff. You spray over here, you spray over here, you just panning left and right, you're doing zooms in and zoom out, you're showing the audience everything about the place, showing whatever's going on, right? And then you don't even have a narration, just put some music underneath there with some beautiful shots. That is working somewhat on social media, but on television or on an internet function where you're trying to do a Facebook ad or something like that, and you're trying to YouTube insertable ads, you're going to want some sort of a narration or a voiceover or somebody telling the story of what these people are looking at, right? You want to push your audience toward the website, toward a phone call, toward clicking somewhere. And so that's going to require some sort of narration almost all the time. But I do like what I'm seeing, particularly in Instagram, where it's a lot of just quick spraying, pretty shots, a little bit of music underneath it, and that's your ad. That does work. You have to figure out how that works individually and for that particular client, for that particular event or location. But I'm going to go with the assumption we're going to use a narration. So the third thing is shoot your narration first. All right. And that is so important. Again, we're trying to get us in and out of there. We're trying to limit the customer, the client, the POC. We're trying to limit them to not going so crazy with us that they carry us over and we're within this 2-hour time constraint, right? So shoot the narration first. Remember, we've interviewed the customer, the client, our point of contact. We've interviewed them. We know what they want. We know what their expectations are. We know what it's going to take to make them happy. Then we put that and condensed it onto paper. We wrote a script. 9 times out of 10, it was just handwritten. I would just handwrite that thing so that they could read it. Some of the ladies really, if they were really into it, the boss or the mom or the client, the POC would say, hang on, give me a second. I'll go type this up. Okay, it doesn't matter to me. Put it, something in bigger font so they could read it. They print it off for us. Either way, we've met with them. We've written a script or a storyboard if that's how you want to go. And now we're going to go shoot something. The first thing we're going to shoot is the narration. And there's a lot of reasons why. The first reason why is because our POC in something like this, our point of contact, most of the time it's the owner or the client itself, right? And they're busy folk. So if it's a restaurant, like you'll see on these things, these people would either say, look, I would do this. I would tell them, look, here's how we're going to keep it simple. We're going to shoot an open and then a close to the commercial, to the ad. So we're going to get that person, whoever they choose, right? Sometimes restaurants would just pick somebody who was the greeter right at the front door, a male or a female greeter. They say, okay, we're going to use this person. Sometimes the owner wanted to do it. Sometimes the owner has a child and they want to use their daughter or their son, whatever, whoever it's going to be. I'm going to put them in the front and at the end. They're going to say, hello, welcome to my restaurant. And then they're going to go into the narration. And at the end, I'm going to show them on camera again. And they go, thanks for coming. Give us a call or visit our website or come on down here tonight. We got specials for you, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for visiting. And that's a close. So we intro it and we outro it. And everything in the middle is the narration itself. I like to do that for this reason. It allows the owner or the client the ability to put somebody on camera that the audience sees in our commercial. They want to use their wife. They want to use their child. They want to use the greeter at the door, whatever it is. They want to use a chef. a lot of times. Maybe the chef wants to come out and the chef wants to do it and wants to introduce himself in the beginning. And then at the end, he'd come back and he's on camera again. But here's the scoop. Another reason we do that is because these guys, most of the time, are not TV pros. They're not accustomed to working with the idea of production in a way where we can leave them on camera the entire time. It's very difficult for someone who doesn't do this, who isn't used to this, to be able to do it for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, the whole time on camera. So they're nervous. They just want to do a little bit, but they want it to look good. Remember, the expectation up top is that it's going to look good. We're going to get people coming in. We're going to sell more product, blah, blah, blah. All right. But in the meantime, it's your job to make it look good. And when you have talent that's on camera, that's nervous or awkward, or can't talk without looking away, or has to read everything, which is normal, right? That's why teleprompters were invented, so we can look at a camera, directly at a camera and read stuff, and you can't tell we're reading. Okay, great, but we don't have teleprompters when we're trying to go out and do a 30, 60-second spot at a restaurant or a business somewhere. So what I do is pick a person, write the script, pick a person, we're gonna put them in front of the camera, they're gonna say the opening, and then they're gonna say the close on camera, whatever we like, in front of the nice place of the restaurant. If we're doing a hibachi bar, maybe we do it right there in front of the chef, making fire happen in the background, and say, welcome to, you know, whatever. And then at the end, they say, comes Kia Sue. You get the idea. Intro, outro, make it pretty. Let them shoot that first. Done. Then we go to the idea of the narration now, the rest of the script we wrote. I tell them, take me to a quiet place. Take me to your office in the back. Take me upstairs. Take me around the corner where it's just an office, or a lot of times these places will have a conference room. They'll have a banquet room. Let's go into some place where we can close the door. Everything's quiet. I can control the sound. And then I'll sit down and I'll say, now just read me the script. Put a mic on them, ask them to hold the mic, whatever kind of mic you got. They've done the intro. They've done the outro on camera, nice and simple. Now come down in a quiet room and read me the script, narrate it. Give me your narration, right? I'll record that to camera. When I get that done, that's a cut. And the reason that's important is because now this person can go back to work. We've used a minimal amount of their time and we are done with them now. They can go back to doing what they're doing. If they were brought in, they can go home now, because now I've got the intro on camera. I've got the outro on camera. And I've got the narration, the voiceover that I'm going to use for my commercial, all in the can. I've got it all on camera now. Now all I've got to do is what? Then I go shoot the B-roll. But before I get off with number 3, let me make sure that I put everything in there. Yep, quiet place to record your audio. Do the open and close. Yep. Yeah, okay, great. I hit every bullet point on that one as to why we do the narration first. Now we're going to number 4. Number 4 is we go shoot the B-roll last. And I'm telling you that because when you get on site, something might be happening. Something might be so pretty. You know, you're really inclined. You're anxious. You're so excited to be a part of what's going on. You're going to talk yourself into, I got a guy with a camera. I got to go do all this right now. But you don't, because you'll end up messing it up. Shoot the B-roll last. That's so important, because when we do all of this first, if we do these first 3 things and we go to the camera on the 4th, we understand why we're shooting something. That's going to help you. When you're the cameraman now and you're going to go shoot this stuff, you've already understood what the client wants you to do. You understand their expectations. You've got a script that you're trying to follow. So all you got to do is shoot whatever the narrator just said. You literally just shoot what is said, so that when they say it, you can put video up. And now we've got our narration already done. So we know exactly what they said. We know how they said it. We know how we're going to shoot it. It makes shooting so much simpler. We're not just going off script and just shooting whatever's happening. We're shooting with purpose. A lot of times I would take that script, now that I've turned them loose and I've got it all done, I'll carry the script around with me so that I remember what I'm shooting. I'm able to look at the script and I make sure. If they said, you know, Peking duck, I got Peking duck. If they said filet and big steaks, I got that. If they said country atmosphere, I got that. If they said, you know, look at our bar is long and unique. I mean, I'm shooting the long and unique bar. I know what to shoot. My shot list is set because I've got a narration. I've got a script here. So I shoot to the script. It makes it so much easier. Okay. shoot the B-roll last. Now, here's a scoop on that. Now that you know what you're supposed to shoot, the question is, how do you shoot it? Right now, remember, we're in a 2-hour window at the longest, at the most. But one of the things I didn't want to ever do is compromise on my shoot, because this, number 4, this is where you earn your money, because you know what they want, you know what they're excited about, and now you're about to go shoot it. And everything we shoot on the number 4 has got to be pretty. It's got to look good. That's your key. Make it pretty, make it look good. And we don't do that. The camera does that. I can't stress enough. This is where you have to use your camera. And what I mean by that is, if they said our steaks are biggest in Texas, we're going to figure out how, with our camera and the lighting, if we're using a window or we're using our own lights, whatever you got, right? We're going to look through the camera in order to determine how best to shoot that steak or that booth or the happy people or the big long bar or whatever it is that they wanted to talk about that we know we have to shoot. We're going to look at our camera and we're going to walk around a little bit with our camera so that we see what the camera sees, and we try to figure out how to make it look the best possible for the camera. That's all that matters, right? So I would spend a lot of time now going and looking around, making sure I got an idea of how I'm going to shoot it. What's the day look like? What's the window lighting look like? Making sure, how can I use this camera, whatever camera I had, to make this shot look so pretty? That's our goal, right? And I think I wrote that in here. Yeah, go around and shoot everything the narration described. And then don't forget to make a night. In the number 4 part right here, we're trying to shoot pretty shots or whatever it is. If we're shooting a product, make it pretty. Don't just point the camera at it. Figure out a place where we can point it, where maybe we can create some sunspots, or maybe we can create some fancy or sexy shadows. Maybe if we're going to, here's the thing with restaurants, happy people, right? And never shoot an empty restaurant. One time I had people come and they weren't paying attention, and they brought me in at like 11 in the morning, and they're a dinner restaurant. So I get there, I did all these. I did number 1, number 2, number 3, and I was ready to go. And they walked me out to the restroom floor, and there wasn't any, to the restaurant floor, and there wasn't anybody there. I said, how are you going to shoot a restaurant if it's not crowded? They said, well, nobody gets here till 4. I said, so why is the camera here, at noon? That don't make no sense. And now I knew I could shoot it. I could do everything as far as what made them happy, but I knew an empty restaurant ain't going to make them happy. I said, so I'll do what I can based upon the script that we have. And then I knew I had to come back. And I said, but y'all are going to love it. And that's when JoJo was with me. And I was like, so I'll bring my boy and y'all feed him, because I got to come back. And they're like, okay, I'm telling you, they don't care. So then I said, great. So JoJo went with me, and he got the best of the best in a crowded environment. We'd already shot the food. It wasn't a food shot. It was the crowd. So that was fantastic. But anyway, you got to know, don't shoot an empty place. But more importantly, the thing I put down is don't forget to shoot an exterior, because you can get so caught up on the inside that you forget to go outside and shoot the exterior of the building, the exterior of the restaurant, the exterior of whatever it is you do. Now, sometimes if we're doing widgets, if we're doing products, it don't really matter there is no outside. If we're selling a bag of potato chips or a Pepsi Coke or whatever, it's just a bottle of soda. But if there's a restaurant, if there's a business involved, and from listening to the script, that at some point you want people, when they see it, to be able to know, oh, there it is. And then they're going to be able to drive over there and come up to it. You're going to need an exterior shot. So don't forget, when you get busy, to get an exterior if you feel like you need it. And I would save that to last. That'd probably be one of the last things I do. In fact, literally, now that I think about it, I would do my exteriors last, because I would be done. I'd get everything I needed done. And then I would be leaving, literally. And on my way out to my car, I'd take a look back, set up the camera, and shoot the exterior on my way out. That was one of the last things I would do. So, but don't forget to do your exteriors. Okay. Number 5, this is where we get into where I was trying to take you right now. And this is so important. And this is pretty much something we're going to do no matter what we're doing, right? I mean, we make a music video, we make anything, we make a feature film, whatever we're going to do. Don't forget, we're going to let the camera do the work. So important. Okay, and you heard me talk about that just a little bit a moment ago. We're going to let the camera do the work. It doesn't matter what we see. It only matters what the camera sees, because that's what the audience is going to see. And that's what the owner or the client is going to see when they see our commercial we produce for them. We need to let the camera do the work. We need to take the time to walk around with the camera, look through the viewfinder, use the lens, use the light, whatever we can do to make the pretty shots, because the pretty shots are what's going to make them love you. So you can't be in a hurry. Sometimes this one takes the longest amount of time. I put use your camera to discover how to make everything look beautiful. Yeah, and I agree with that. Try different angles, different lighting, different backgrounds. Try anything you can to get your shot of what you know you need a shot of, but how can we make it look beautiful, right? The best that we can make it look. Move around and let the camera show you what looks best. Got to do it, right? Because every camera is different. Every camera receives light differently. Every camera is just looking at stuff differently. You won't know what it looks like until you look through the viewfinder of your camera. And that's what's going to make the decisions as to what you're going to shoot and how you're going to shoot it. Take the time to try to make every shot as beautiful as possible. I promise you, when you get into editing, it's going to be so easy. The worst problem you want to have in editing is that you shot so much beauty that you can't cut it all to fit. I used to love that. When I got into putting the editing together, because we'll talk about editing, editing should be simple. Because we've done these 5 things, and because we have a script, when we go to edit now, so we've left, we got all this happy, clients always happy. You know, when you take this kind of time to shoot something for a business or make a commercial for them, the client is always going to be happy to see you go. And there's 2 reasons. Why? Because they don't like a camera in there. It's offsetting a lot of times for their customers if they're running a restaurant or something like that. It takes time, but also because they're worried about you while you're in there. They want everything to look good. They're worried about what you're doing. They're worried about everything along the way. So when you say, I got everything I need, I'm happy. All right, I'm out of here now. I can't wait for you to see this. They're happy. That particular part of their day is over, and they are excited to see what you're going to send them. It's always a very heightened point of goodbye, because they're so excited. They can't wait to see what you're going to send to them. So we go back to the house, we go to the office, wherever you edit, we're fixing to cut this. But if we did this right, we've got nothing but a script and a narration, and then we've got beautiful shots to go over their narration. We've got an introduction of the person saying, hi, welcome to, and we've got an outro or an ending of them saying, thanks for taking the time to look around. We can't wait to see you here. Y'all come on down, visit our website, call us and set up a reservation, whatever you want. We've got an intro and an outro, and then we've got a script, a narration in the middle, and we've got beautiful video to put up on everything they talk about. It's pretty simple. When you have those pieces of the puzzle, editing becomes quite simple. And the worst problem to have, the best problem to have is when you have so much beautiful shots that it makes it hard to pick the best to put in on the narration when you're trying to make the commercial for them. Man, that's a wonderful feeling. When you get so much beautiful things that it's hard to figure out which is the most beautiful that's going to make their commercial. When you're dealing with that in editing, it's a really wonderful feeling. So take the time when you're shooting to try to give yourself as an editor the best content possible. Okay, now let's take all of this and mash it into what Amanda's getting good at on the idea of social media content, Instagram. Let me do this, let me shoot this, let me put this, let me add some music to it, let me export it out, put a link and make the business happy. Yes, these things still work, right? Except perhaps not the narration, not number 3. If you're going to do the Instagram, like when you did your strawberry festival, you didn't talk to anybody, did you? No, see, I mean, that's hard. You have to arrange. If you're going to go shoot, she went and shot Pasadena Strawberry Festival, been going on for, I can't tell you how long.
50th anniversary.
Wow, 50th year. Yes, girl, love that. Used to have to go do that. But when you go with the news people are going to have somebody, they call them, well, they got a POC, right? It's going to be the media relations person. It's going to be the old timer who founded the operation. It's going to be somebody who's just there to talk to the cameras. But if you're going Instagram, you're going social media, you don't even need to bother with those people. You just hit pretty shots, pretty people, little girl standing there in a strawberry outfit. these fancy drinks they were selling, the concession stands, right? The fancy fried food. You hit what you want, you put it all together right there. You did all that on your phone. That's what I'm talking about. All right, all right there, all in real time, and you can publish and promote on site, literally over and over and over again. You could really be able to cover that as a reporter in a unique way by just doing it at certain times of the day and just hitting different things, right? Okay, I love that. So maybe not a narration, but everything else is going to be the same. Let the camera do the work. Let yourself find what looks pretty. A lot of times when we see it with our eye, it looks completely different than what we see through the camera. We got to go with what the camera sees. And a lot of times you don't see, it doesn't look as good to you and to your eyes as it might look in the camera. The more you get to know your camera, even if it's just your phone, right? Your camera phone, your camera on your phone, you start using it enough and you'll start to realize, oh man, if I point it this way, or if I do this with this background, it makes it look so pretty. You'll start to realize what your camera does and what it likes and doesn't like. And that's what you're going to shoot for. No pun intended. You're going to shoot for the idea of putting the most beautiful stuff together so that it works well, right? I can't wait for y'all to be able to do that, but that just comes with doing it more than once. Okay, so we moved in through editing. We've got all this done. Now you're either going to post it on social media and send me the link, or you're going to go back home and edit it and create an MP4 and then send me on a submission portal a file. And I did it as a file for the same reason we did it last time, so that you can send an MP4. But if you're doing social media and you've got a link that you need to send me, because it's a file submission, on Brightspace, you have to pick text submission or file submission. So it's file on this one. So just put your link on a Microsoft Word document or a PDF and send that as a file so I can just click on it. I'll get the Word doc or I'll get the PDF and be able to click on it and be able to watch what you did. All right. And another thing we were talking about on that social media, when you're doing all this, hashtag back to the client, to the customer, to the event. A lot of these people are always talking about a lot of what's going on. I see it all the time now is on these events and things don't have backgrounds or things put up for you to take pictures in front of. And then they'll tell you post it. And then I don't know what they even call it. What do they call it? Like put our hashtag down or something, right? Help us promote ourselves. And they'll tell you what to put the at whatever, put the hashtag whatever, right? What do y'all call that? Yeah, but I mean, like the verb is to follow or to promote or what? Like and subscribe, right? Help us promote us by taking your picture here and putting it up to this so we can receive it. Yeah, do all that, because if it looks good, you never know. And you can do the same. Remember, with spec work, you get a really good idea or a good, clever way of using your camera or some editing techniques that maybe you stumbled on and you think you want to try it. Shoot a Coca-Cola bottle, shoot a little spec commercial, keep it short, and hashtag Pepsi, hashtag Coke, put whatever you want. And a lot of those people are just paid. They have entire teams that just randomly, I mean, that they receive that content based upon the hashtags and they scroll through it all day, every day, see something they like. They might just contact you and be able to tell you, I want to do some of the stuff with you. That's the world we live in. You just never know. So if you're doing a social media, hashtag the people of the event or place that you're at so that they can see what you're doing. And if they like it, they'll holler at you and maybe you can get paid to do it. Okay, let me make sure that I'm wrapping this up. We're almost there. Okay, the only thing I put at the end was to remember it's a 2-hour assignment. If you stay in there longer than 2 hours, you're there too long. Unless what? Unless they like you and they just want to take you out to eat or they want to talk to you about more business and all of that. But for the idea of this production, for this particular endeavor, this assignment, no more than 2 hours on site is all you need, because that's a good skill set to begin to develop. It's a good challenge, particularly if you overwork stuff like I used to. I thought you had to be there 6 hours, meet them for lunch the day before and work 2 weeks on getting a script and whatnot. 2 hours total, man, from the time I met them until the time I was done. So y'all try to stay with that just the same. Okay, any questions or comments? Everybody okay? Not bad. 1 hour. Good, that's right on time. Everybody comfortable? Catherine, you okay? Kenley, nice and simple stuff, dude. I know you've already done all that. Oscar, you okay? I'm about to wrap this one up, man. All right. Okay, so that's all we got for today. Y'all handle yourselves and take time. This is our last assignment of the semester so that we can come back in week 10 and be able to watch all this with everybody. In week 11, come in and say goodbye, and that'll be it. Okay, do good and be good. That's a wrap for today, week 8.